Debate around stress and infertility. I am going to be the exclusive host tonight, and I'm going to be the one for you here to answer all your questions around stress and infertility. One in 8 couples struggle with infertility. So the fact of getting pregnant and sustaining pregnancy. And despite the prevalence of infertility, there is a high proportion of couples that don't share this with their family and friends, which increases their psychological vulnerability, which is really sad, considering that there's so much support out there for families and individuals. So another study in 2004, which utilized a psychiatric interview. They interviewed 122 women before their first infertility clinic visit. And the results were absolutely striking. 40% of women were diagnosed as having anxiety, depression, or both before even coming to their very first visit. Another article, Volston and colleagues reported that 31% prevalence of psychiatric symptoms, the most common of which was major depression. And also another Danish study of 42,000 women who underwent ART treatment were screened for depression prior to treatment, and 35% screened positive. So there's a lot of research here to talk about the debate around stress and infertility and the correlation between the two. Another recent literature review looked at the prevalence of psychological symptoms in infertility, concluded that 25% to 60% of couples or individuals experiencing infertility reported psychiatric symptoms, and that their levels of anxiety and depression were higher than infertile couples or individuals. So that's a very high level. Another interesting fact that we found in the research around the correlation of does stress cause infertility was that we found that the more depressed a woman that was struggling with infertility experienced, she was more likely to drop out of treatment. And this wasn't even based on the prognosis or finances. It was the reason for discontinuation was based on psychological reasons. So that's incredibly impactful and incredibly discouraging for women and couples. And so another study looked at just over 500 women in the United States of America, and they looked at biomarkers of stress. And what they found was that they looked at that there was just much higher measures of psychological symptoms, and that had a negative impact on infertility. So can everybody just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me properly?
On Instagram.
On Instagram? Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Is there anyone that can just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me properly on Instagram? Okay, great. Thank you so much. So just looking at the literature and the correlation between stress and infertility, and it's been an ongoing debate for quite some time. And what we're going to say, based on the research, it is a fact that stress causes infertility. And that's why I'm here today, because I am the one at Victory Reproductive Care that supports individuals and families through their journey to conception.